Hello and welcome to I Am Geek. This is episode 274. I'm Ryan, joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Catron.
Heyo.
It feels like it's been a while since I've been here. I guess it has been. It's been like 3 weeks.
84 years.
84 years. That's how old I feel today. We have a special guest on tonight. Before we get to that, there's been so much news this week, and I guess for Star Wars and I can't even say it, Starcruiser, we'll save that maybe till the end of the show because I don't want to be Debbie Downer at the beginning of the show and just make our guests feel like, oh man, these people are just, or this Ryan guy is just very sad and just Debbie Downer. All right, so we'll save that
every week.
I know. We'll save that to the end. So don't let me forget to pull out the tissues and have some downtime. Yeah. But tonight we're joined by a very special guest, Bryon Caldwell, Animator Extreme. Hello. How are you doing?
Hey guys. Good to be on the show. This is awesome. It's like we're getting the band back together.
Yes. Now, for those of you that are listening or watching on YouTube that don't know, long ago, in a state far away from Texas, where we are now, we all lived in the state of Tennessee.
That's right.
And we all went to the same prestigious university, East Tennessee State University, where we all met.
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
I almost did. This is Tuskegee hat, but
yeah.
No. Yeah, I know it's Texas, but
so
East Tennessee.
It's funny. 3 of us are in Texas now. Catron's still holding tight to Tennessee.
That's right.
Yep. He's the last
Hold
holdout.
on to the corner of it.
He's not letting go. We're down here fighting the good fight in Texas.
Is that right?
Yeah. And you're still up there in God's country, I guess.
Yes.
Well, not really, because you're in Memphis. So, Tennessee is really like 3 states.
It is. It is crazy. I've lived in all 3 sections, and they are all 3 different.
Do you have a favorite?
East is the best. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's figuring that out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Bryon and I, and Catron, I guess, the 3 of us met at what was affectionately known as the Baptist Student Union when we were there. It's known as something else now.
Baptist Collegiate Ministry.
BCM
or
B.
Yes.
Something like that, yeah.
But they had to change that because of us, probably, because we'd always say, don't let the BSU beat.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, that's what they did.
I mean, it could be. I don't know.
That's probably why they changed it. They're like, oh, we can't have that. Can't be having that. But we met there. Chris, you met in that, and
we met in
your
engineering design program.
Yeah, animation program, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
engineering design,
graphics.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know you could build bridges and stuff, or you could drive a train.
I could build them, but probably don't want to go on them.
It's true.
They look pretty.
They look pretty.
Yeah, it look great.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Don't let the wind blow.
So that's where we all met, and now it's been, I think, before the show. How did we say 25 years?
Oh no. Can't be. It's got to be like 2021.
2021.
It's got to be 21 years.
Well,
I don't know.
So
I can't do math.
At least 20. At least 20.
It's at least 20.
But
So
I know
20,
I left. I left
22?
Johnson City in 2002. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's 21, 22 years. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. So old. But we're back here together this many years later.
Yes.
Our lives have changed. We have kids. So most of us have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Chris,
3 out of 4 have kids.
Yeah.
Chris decided to become a cat dad.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's the best kind of dad.
That's right.
And a Tesla dad. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still living that
With
that
a
party
custom
life.
garage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm out partying every night. Yeah. Just like I always did.
That's why we've gone to every other
Out of the
week for
clubs.
I Am Geek, because most weeks, every other week Chris is out partying.
Yes.
I gotta get my party on. That's what the kids say these days.
Yeah.
Before I'm going to take a quick commercial break before I forget. Next weekend is Comicpalooza. That's where you're throwing the cheap stuff. Woo.
Yeah, we can do that.
You don't have to. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
It is Friday, May 26th through the 28th. Chris and I, not Catron, because
he's a party pooper.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not leaving Tennessee again.
Again.
We are going to be hosting a live show Saturday from 12 to 12:45. Chris has got that all planned out, all ready to go.
Really?
Yeah, he's going to host the whole thing.
We're going to talk about building bridges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, you have a topic, right? They gave you a topic for redesigning a Disney.
Yeah. So basically, what we're going to do is our other show that Chris isn't on, but we're going to get him on sometime.
Because I'm out partying. Yeah.
Because he's out partying. Living with the Land Speeder is our other show that Catron and I do with our friend Derek Frank.
Derek
Frank. We take Disney rides and we Star Warsify them and make them the Star Wars ride, which soon we'll be able to do that for the Starcruiser because it won't be Star Wars anymore. Oh, I'm going to start crying. But so what I decided to do was let's take a little bit of that show and put it in I Am Geek and do a live show where we take, so basically we'll have two hats or something. One will have Disney attractions in it, and then one will have like a Disney era in it. So it could be like, or Pixar or the 90s or, classics or whatever. And so we'll draw one out of each. And then Chris will have to, and me, will have to think of a ride on the fly or to reimagine with whatever thing he drew out of the hat. Mm-hmm. So it could be like Pixar, and then he'd have to turn the Haunted Mansion into something that deals with Pixar or something. I don't know if it's going to work. To tell you the truth,
no one ever does.
I'm hoping that we can get volunteers from the audience to come up and be a part of it. Is what I'm hoping.
So is it a live performance?
This is yes.
We'll call it a performance
on the stage.
Yes, we'll call it a performance live on stage.
We got to record this. We got to see this.
Yeah, we'll see if it's recorded. I don't know.
It's be amazing.
And then I think on Sunday, if I can get back down there, I'm going to be on a Star Wars panel for the future of Star Wars, which I don't know if they want me on a panel about Star Wars right now, because I may just go off on Disney.
You have to go on the positive side and preach how good it was. Yeah. It's like they need to keep it. They need to spin it, doing something else. Is it the cruiser? Is it this what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Starcruiser.
Starcruiser, yeah.
We'll get to that at the end. So Chris will be leading the show. I've decided.
Excellent. Yeah.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And I'll be the guy this time that this goes. I'm with you, fellas, but there won't be fellas. It'll just be Chris. So
that's my deal.
Sorry, I'm taking it. I should bring a couple of my Star Wars helmets, and we'll just wear helmets the whole time.
Ooh, perfect.
And then nobody will even know who it is up there.
We'll be like Daft Punk.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are the new Daft Punk. Anyways, back to the main attraction, which is Bryon Caldwell. Let me list some of the examples. I won't even. I'll even include Rock Dog, everybody's favorite movie.
Hey.
You have been an animator on Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Ready Player One, which is one of my favorites. The kids will love this. Fortnite. You've worked on Fortnite. Jupiter Ascending, Paddington, Edge of Tomorrow, RoboCop, but that was cool. 47 Rowan, Happy Feet 2.
Yes, that's one, right?
Yeah. Green Lantern. I don't know if you want me to include that one or not, but
Yep. That was a rough one, but
Christopher Robin. Oh, Rocket League.
It was fun.
Oh. And you worked on the latest season of Star Wars Visions, just specifically on the Sith episode, which is the first episode of season 2. And we're going to get into it all tonight.
Awesome.
But first, how about you tell us and the listeners and viewers how you got into animation? What was your little journey. You don't have to give your full like. It started.
I
when
was bored.
Yes, I was
At
bored.
the beginning.
But just sort of
It was dark. There was a tunnel.
Yes. In a world.
So how did this journey begin for you?
So it goes back to ETSU. I was really interested in visual effects, and ETSU had a really great program, and that's also where Chris and I met.
Yep.
And went through that program, and upon graduation wanted to continue studying animation because my senior year realized I really liked animation. It really clicked with me, and I wanted to continue my education. So moved across the country to to San Francisco and started at the Academy of Art University, and took a lot of classes there, got my MFA, and was in the Pixar program. At the time, it was a very prestigious program, and that's where it it really hooked me. And then it was off to the races after graduation, and started at Telltale Games was my first gig.
Cool.
But my first interview, which is interesting, my first professional interview was for Clone Wars.
Oh wow.
And it was at the ranch, and Dave Filoni interviewed me, and
Wow.
looked at my portfolio and gave me a lot of tips and good critique. And it's quite a story, but I learned a lot about interviewing, and didn't get the job, but they said I did well. It's just they wanted someone that could draw more because it was for a 3D layout gig, and so they wanted to have someone that could draw a little bit better. But I could do the 3D side. It's just I didn't know they wanted me to show my 2D side. But anyway, yeah, it was really interesting that all these years later, in the credits, we finally share a credit scroll or roll or whatever, because at the end is Dave Filoni on Sith. It's like, oh, interesting. After all these years, finally we get a chance to share the.
He knew way back then when you were interviewing, and he's like, no, this isn't the Star Wars job for you.
No, I know.
We're gonna have one later.
Yes.
Like visions. Just remember the word visions.
I've got a vision.
Come back.
We got a vision for you.
15 years later. Yeah, this was like, I think 2007. This was maybe the third season of Clone Wars. I'm not sure which one it was. Maybe it was the fourth season.
Was he wearing a cowboy hat?
He was wearing his fedora. Yep. Yeah. And the office was really dark, and he has a giant painting of Plo Koon, the size of like a window. Like, it is so huge. And it's a beautiful painting. But
it's his favorite character. Yeah.
Had his feet up on his desk, leaned back, kind of Godfather style. But yeah, it was a very interesting experience. Got to see the whole ranch, and got to meet the crew. But it wasn't the right timing, but it was good experience. It was a really good experience, and they treated me really well. And but yeah, all these years later, finally get to work on a Star Wars project. So
that's cool.
But yeah, I kept going after it, and then finally things lined up years later, and Chris and I got to work together at Real Effects. So that was a good run.
On some bangers. We could go over those.
There were some good ones there.
Yes.
I missed Book of Life. I really wanted to work on Book of Life.
Book of Life was great. That was a really good project. Yeah. But
the whole animation department at Framestore went to see it in Montreal. Wow, nice. Yeah, so we all went to see it. Yeah, still remember. Awesome. We were working on the Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know what we were working on at that time. We were all so tired, and but we made it through. It was really good. Everybody had a lot of good things to say about it.
Yeah, the better Coco. That's what.
Yes, the original. Yeah, the original.
No offense to Coco.
The original Coco.
The original.
It's okay. It's better. You can. Yeah. I'll say it.
It's got heart. Okay. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it better.
It's Jorge. Jorge is.
Jorge's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
So you mentioned you were at Telltale Games. What was the first thing you worked on there? Like your first gig?
It was, I believe, What's New Beelzebub, Sam and Max.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sam and Max. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a great first gig, and really appreciative to my animation teacher, Linda Bell. She really helped me get that first job, and she knew she had a friend that she sent my reel to, kind of I didn't even know she was doing it. And I showed up to class toward the end of it was my last semester before I graduated. Maybe it's the last class, or, it was one of the last classes. And she said, by the way, I sent your demo reel to a friend of mine, and they might give you a call. And I was like, well, thank you very much. And sure enough, they did. And it lined up real well. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great crew. All the rigs were really fast, so we could animate kind of real time, and very expressive. Sam and Max, Crime Dog, and Bunny, and Steve Purcell. Steve Purcell would come in from over Pixar. He would leave Pixar, come over to Telltale, and he would walk and just check out artwork. We'd show him some animation and stuff. Got a couple of sketchbooks and books. Got him to draw the bunny and Max and stuff. Yeah, Max. Man, it's been a long time. It was a really cool experience. And then from there went on to Image Movers, and that was a really good experience as well, despite Disney shutting us down. But that was meant to be. Just it's one of those things. Disney and shutting things down. Sorry, that's a sore point. But
later, calm down.
Later.
They tend to shut things down.
I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. So tell us about. I mean, I could talk about all your movies, but I know that would be all night. Tell us how the journey to Visions 2 happened for you. Like, how did that come about for you?
Well, I've been working freelance for Agora studio for a couple of years now, and they every now and again it just depends on how often they get projects. They'll send out just notifications that, hey, we've got this project, would you be interested? And when it came across my email, I was like, yep, I would love to do that. And so I immediately replied, and things lined up, and they brought me on the team, and we got started in January of 22. I think it was last year.
Wow.
And started out the first week, and off to the races, getting everything plugged in. It was all remote, all over the world. All these animators. I think there's 11 to 12, maybe up to 15, depending on the El Guari side. But that first week was a whirlwind, getting ramped up, getting your first shots, and then we got a call that Wednesday that we had been matched for an adoption, and we've been waiting for 3 years, and we're like, man, this is awesome. This is what we've been waiting on, and we're so thankful. And they said, well, he's expected in about 3 or 4 weeks. So I had some time. We were trying to figure things out, and then that Saturday, they call us and they said, okay, he is here and you need to come and pick him up. And we're like, wait, what? And so we had to immediately grab all of our stuff and pack the car and drive to Missouri. So we adopted him in Missouri and Osage Beach area. And we were there for 4 weeks going through all the legal stuff.
Wow.
And I was trying to teach at the same time. So I'm also teach full time, and then I do freelance, on the side. And so I'm juggling remote freelancing, or I'm getting my wires crossed here. I'm juggling remote teaching because they let me teach remotely. This is, very unique circumstances. And then I'm also messaging, Agora saying, I would love, I'm in the middle of this adoption, and they thought I was going to quit. And Jacob Gardner, the animation director, everyone was so laid back and easy to work with, and they were very understanding, and they were just kind of wrapping things up with me. And I was like, well, I would love to try to hang on if you could. If I could stay on, that'd be amazing. And they're like, oh, we thought you wanted to quit. Sure. So they were able to cut my hours down a little bit. And I was at about 25 hours a week, part-time, but still worked on, I think 10 or more shots from January to Mayish, in mid-April to May. So it's still a lot of work. But it was really smooth. The whole production was really smooth. Great feedback. The remote pipeline worked really, really well. Rodrigo Blas, the director, Pixar, back in the day, all the amazing shows that Rodrigo worked on. He also did a short film called Alma.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you haven't seen it, it's really, really good. I remember watching it and it going around the animation department when we were at IMD, at Image Movers Digital, and it was just, man, this was so good, and it was really amazing to work with him. He had a really strong hold on he wrote the story, put the whole thing together, and it was his vision, of this story,
Yeah.
and it has like a very Spanish influence to it. But yeah, that was kind of the journey up to that point. It was a very complicated start. Oh man. So I was very thankful to be able to hang on to it, and things worked out. Sawyer, my son's name's Sawyer, and yeah, things worked out real well.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Didn't sleep a lot.
I bet not.
Well,
Yeah.
so.
Newborn, teaching, freelance. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But
no sleep then. So what scenes could you tell us what scenes you worked on for people that have watched it?
Yes. So in the beginning, when Lola is waking up from her dream, and E2 is kind of waking her up, she gets up, she stretches her arm, and after that shot where she is kind of patting him, saying, "The eclipse is today," and she's going to go finish her painting, and that's my shot.
Cool.
And then she goes to get her tea. That's my shot. I've got 3 shots in a row where she kind of pats E2 and she leaves, puts her tea under the coffee maker or the tea maker, and E2 gets up and kind of bangs it, and then the next shot it was a harder shot because you're trying to get, it's an acting shot that she's not doing a whole lot, but the face really needs to show the emotion and satisfaction of that warm tea or that coffee, and I'm just getting my day started, and then turning, and she has this really sly kind of look, and she pops the top off, and then of the coffee maker, and the globules come out in the tea, and then she goes into the Force moment, and then the title. I don't have that shot, but this is the one where she raises her arm to start the Force.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Then, can we go through all of them? Or
yeah, sure, you can.
Okay. So then I have the shot where E2 is stumbling through the paint cups and the bowls, and he's really big in frame, and the camera's pulling out to reveal the mural, and she's making it's kind of stirring the paint in the background. That was my very first shot, and that was a really hard shot because there wasn't a lot defining the droid's movement at all. So I just did some experimentation, with the walk cycle, and plus I needed a walk cycle to have him come in, and then I can modify it depending on the objects and stuff. And on the first pitch, they wanted him to interact with the bowls of paint and things, and so I animated him knocking bowls over and interacting with the cups, and he finally hits his mark and dips his paw or his his leg into the paint and kind of shakes it off and then walks toward Lola. So I blocked it out and then showed it, and they loved it, and Rodrigo loved it. But then the producer, one of the producers, they made the decision that it would be too expensive to do all the paint going everywhere, and so they had me take out all of the interaction with all the bowls.
Oh,
yeah. So there's maybe one in there left, but there was a lot of just nice interaction and things, and we took it all out. So then that was my very first shot that I worked on, and then let's see, I'm trying to think of all of them. So from there, there's a long shot of the master. It's the first close up of him when he's walking toward the screen, and he's walking and walking, and he hits his mark, and he does this glare and this slow burn. The camera pans in really close, and it was trying to find inspiration, and I didn't do the actual walk cycle. So that was, oh man, I'm trying to remember there. And that's a little bit of a downside of working remotely, is you don't have the camaraderie of getting to really know the crew. We get to message each other and chat and things, but I think it was Fernando Herrera. He did a really great walk for it, but I had to take that walk and have him stop and do the performance, right? And had to amplify and had to adjust it. But my inspiration for this shot was Clint Eastwood. There's this really
Nice.
subtle gesture that he does with his face when he stops. It's a very kind of menacing a moment where he's just really subtle, because status, when you have power, you don't have to do a whole lot, to intimidate people, right? It's not like, you're all over the place with these really big gestures and you kind of feel goofy. You think of very regal, powerful people, they barely have to lift a finger, to say off with their head. You don't have to do too many things. But that was this little gesture Rodrigo really fixated on, like from the first time he saw it. He's like, dude, don't change a thing. Leave that in there and just keep it the way it is. But that came from Dirty Harry. I looked at a couple of Dirty Harry clips, trying to get that little, punk, this the way that he does this little gesture with his head. So it's in there. You really have to look for it.
That's nice. And it is really nice to take. Like I watched that. It's very subtle, but like
It is.
but it's really on there. A lot of like really getting emotion and
Mhm.
stuff is really coming through the face, especially the eyes, trying to get them to be alive.
That's always the hard part, and it's especially hard when you have a more limited tool set. And the tools were good on the show, but there were some limitations, but yeah, there was a lot of effort trying to bring that emotion out, in the characters.
Mhm.
And then from there, from that shot, I had the next one, or did I? So there's a couple more shots, and then it's Lola. There's a little bit of back and forth, and the master saying something where he's like, remember, he's trying to bring her back into the fold, and she's kneeling and she's looking over her shoulder. And this was the longest shot. I think it was the longest shot that I had. Super challenging. It doesn't look that complicated, but it was challenging because of layout and the way that it was structured based on the early previs. But emotionally, it was hard because she's conflicted and she's fighting these, this inner darkness, right? So she was being trained by the Sith, and now she left because she doesn't want to be a part of that world anymore. And getting that in her face and her expressions, and then having her stand up and turn, to face, her master. And the shot, the camera comes around and it's an over the shoulder and reveals the kind of the valley. And the hard part about that shot was the camera was moving across this dune, this desert. So you don't really see it. You don't see it at all. But as the animator, I was having to do all this stuff to make it look like she's on the spot and not moving.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of trickery, just to kind of make the body mechanics work right. And because the camera was all over the place, and I had to adjust some of the camera stuff. I was doing a little bit of camera work as well. And it was more of a technical shot that was quite challenging. And then I have the next shot after that with her saying, I'm no Sith. And then the last shot is where she reacts in the hallway during the lightsaber scene, where he does a swipe and she does a backflip and then swipes her lightsaber down.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had a chunk of shots, and there's another reaction shot that I helped work on. So they needed. So after we finished, they realized they were doing some tweaks, and they needed to add some time to a shot. And so they said, Bryon, can you add 30, 40 frames to the head of the shot, but also make sure you preserve the animator's work on the rest, because it was not my shot. But the first 30 to 40 frames are my shot. And so that was a little bit tedious as well, to respect the other animators, the other animator on the shot. But yeah, it was good. It was a really challenging show. I learned a lot. The crew was really, really sharp and very collaborative, gave feedback very well and effectively. And Jacob Gardner was the animation supervisor and did an amazing job. And Rodrigo was awesome. He was really, really great. Story-wise, emotional, just giving, not him being emotional, but bringing the emotion out of the characters.
Yeah.
And talking about how working big to small, talking about shape language, and looking at, your posing and your animation starting. I mean, this is stuff, Chris, it's stuff that animators speak, that, things that we use every day, but it's nice to hear it at that level, and not get bogged down in all the little polishy things. But he had always had the big picture, and breaking it down to boiling it down to the most effective and purest form, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, challenging but fun.
So, for listeners and for us, when you take on a job like this short, did they basically, like the director, lay out the whole story for you and then give you your shots, or they just give you your shots and say, this is what I want you to do, and you don't know the bigger picture as far as the whole story?
It's different. It's different based, studio to studio, project to project. But this one, I mean, everything was ready to go from, day one. And that's why I think it worked so well, is it was organized very effectively. And we knew this, we had the animatic, we could see the story was done, it was in the can, it was locked basically. I mean, it was tight. I mean, it was the movie, and we were just replacing the boards with, the updated animation. And they also had a really good bead on the look as well. Carlos Salgado, man, a wonderful concept artist, and loved, seeing all of his concept art, and then starting to see a couple of the early tests that they were doing with E2, the droid, to try to nail down the look. And I was secretly, I wasn't sure if they're going to be able to do it, because usually, you get all the art books from all these movies that you love, and you see the concept art, and you're like, man, look how beautiful this is. And then the movie's just not quite, to the level of the concept art. But they nailed it pretty much 100%. Like the movie, the short film looks like the concept art. And
wow.
I mean, you can stop on any frame and you can see all the brush strokes, and they didn't animate it with motion blur. So any frame you can stop on, it is a solid, like,
that's cool.
You can put it on your wall.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about the episode. It's the look of it. Like, it looks like a painting and it moves.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, they did some amazing stuff technically with, compositing and other trickery. We rolled off the show. We didn't see much of that development stuff other than some of the the tests, which were beautiful. But I think you can look at some of the maybe Carlos Salgado's social media, or maybe the art director. They've posted some tests showing a little bit of the process, and it's pretty fascinating to see how they develop the look.
That's awesome.
I really love the droid. As soon as he came on screen, I'm like, oh, this droid's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know his name, so I had to ask. So I was the first animator. I think I was the first animator to ask what his name was in dailies. And Rodrigo said it was a funny story, because he kept seeing this number come up constantly. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's this number that kept coming up between him and Disney. And it always started with E2. And it came up so much and so often that it was like, all right, that's the droid's name. E2.
Funny.
And so that was kind of how it came about, was this number, this back and forth of this. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. But he's a fun droid.
Yeah.
I like the three legs.
Nice.
Yeah.
With the little cannon that comes out.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene. And then I love that section. We blast the other droid, and then when the master comes through, and just the power that he has in his hand, that's just so nice, getting pulled apart and all. Yeah. But he comes back together. It's good.
Yeah, I was sad when he got pulled.
Spoilers.
I was like, oh, no.
I know.
Like, oh.
I just fell in love with you. Now you're gone.
Yeah. And that was a great shot at the end too. The when she was putting him back together, it's really,
it's nice,
really nice.
The leg into it.
The way that some of the all the performances were really nuanced, really good choices. I was really impressed with all the work. Is really nice, good, believable.
Yeah, it's nice and simplistic and subtle, and like it just comes across really great. Like, but you can, like, It's animated stuff, like you see stuff, it's like, oh, it's like really overacted.
Yep.
And stuff
Yep.
like that. It's like you don't have to do that. You
Right.
can really contain that, and it'll be so much better. And like that's definitely one of those animated things. It's the acting is nice and subtle and just kind of perfect for what it is. So.
Knowing how to find that line, find that range, where sometimes less is more,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I'll be honest.
It really is.
Hard.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I thought the episode was visually beautiful and emotionally on point. I thought they balanced everything. Well, you guys balanced everything wonderfully.
Thank you. Yeah. It was hard. I mean, the getting the emotion. It was. We could feel it, but it was because of the tools that we had to work with. It was, to get that out of her. It was a good challenge. It was really good, and to get her to think. Have E2 come up, and you can tell from like his slight little head turns, his eyes, the eye darts and things, from that, to having the master feeling very imposing, depending on his actions. But he didn't have a lot of broad, big actions until he took E2 apart, and then when he gets into the hallway and then goes at it with the lightsaber, that's his biggest actions. But yeah, the emotion was what he was really going for. That intimate story of exploring. How would a Sith apprentice, how would the story unfold with someone trying to escape? And balance and darken the light. And I love that idea. And then having the double-bladed lightsaber with red and color of gold.
That's great.
I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. I mean, I'm trying to think other instances. You don't really see that much with people that are affiliated with the Sith in Star Wars canon. Like, I
can't think of another
usually
time.
They die.
Is there a two-tone lightsaber anywhere?
No, I don't think lightsabers. No,
I haven't. Yeah, I couldn't think of one either.
Yeah, there's not. I'm just trying to think of any other like Sith redemption, really, besides Darth Vader sort of at the end. But as far
Ventress,
Ventress would be the closest.
I think. Yeah.
But Sith turning and finding themselves and living out their lives. Yeah, you don't see that much. It's usually a horrible ending for them.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the other episodes, and I have an interesting idea.
Ooh.
Not really, it's not an idea, but it's a concept. So I went back and watched a lot of the episodes last night again, and you've guys seen Screecher's Reach?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So this is not official. Just kind of disclaimers here. This is not official. This is just something I picked up on last night, and it's also numbered 1 Sith, number 2 Screecher's Reach. So I don't know if they made the comparison that I just made last night, and this was never covered ever. What if Lola goes on with her life, and she ends up on the planet of Screecher's Reach, and she is that
Screecher.
ghost in the mountain? Because the other interesting thing, when they're entering the mountain, there's all these black things coming out, of that hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like her bed where she was sleeping, of all the black lines that are coming out of her bed. So I thought that was a kind of neat. That'd be cool if they really did that, but there's no way that they caught it. But I was like, that could kind of work. That'd be kind of cool. That she kind of went back to her old ways, maybe.
It's a very fun headcanon. I like it.
Yeah. But I thought that was kind of cool. I really enjoyed that episode a lot. The Screecher's Reach. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's like a banshee, like a type.
Yeah, I don't want Lola to turn into that.
I know. I'm just saying. It was just really. You never know.
Dark.
No, I like her. She needs to be happy. Making pretty pictures.
Yeah.
With her joy. So
Yeah, I
what are oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just say I watched that episode with my son last night right before bed, so that was great. I didn't realize that was what's going to happen, which
Yeah,
is
that was-
11, right?
that
So
was-
Off to bed with
but
you.
he kind of walked away and found something else to do, I think.
That
Yeah.
episode was crazy, and then the ending was like, "Come with me. This is your lightsaber now." I was like, "Oh God!"
All
Did you know it's
happened?
Angelica
Oh.
Houston that was the voice of the Sith mother?
Oh,
Yeah, saw that.
That's cool.
Saw that. That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that was all hand done. I watched the behind the scenes of it, and it was all ink on paper.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Cartoon Saloon, and so every frame. I think it was mentioned that it was taking the animators 45 minutes a frame for the
Wow.
ghost section. You know, when she's
Yeah.
whipping around, and there's all that, you know, ghostly, really ethereal, cool stuff going on.
Mhm.
And I think they said it was like 700 something frames or more. It was like
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot of work.
They're
But the
doing
behind the
like
scenes
a-
are really great.
They're doing the 30 frames per second. Right.
I don't know. I don't
Uh,
think so. We did 24.
Oh, 24. Yeah. Okay.
I think it was 24. But
yeah, it's
Come on,
24.
Chris.
Like,
yeah.
sorry, I work
That's
more in
kidding.
30
You're in the
frames.
games. Yeah.
24. 24.
Yeah.
It's been a while
I
since
like-
I've done 24.
Yes.
Do you have any other favorites from the season?
Man, there's so many. I liked bits and pieces of all of them. All of them looked so good. Man, I like the Kyber crystal one. Ara's song, you know, with singing and the idea that the crystals could be tainted or, you know, and ruined or whatever. And I thought that was really interesting. And the look was really nice. And everything was
Our song.
awesome. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. That
Mhm.
one was really nice.
Very different, you know.
Mm-hmm. I
Looks
like
really
the
good.
kind of felt kind of
Mhm.
quality to the characters.
Yeah.
That's the one my son said. We were watching it, and he didn't watch all of them, but he watched some. He said, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's Star Wars Visions. It's like a Star Wars short." He goes, "That doesn't look like Star Wars."
It's just another part of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Those characters don't look like Star Wars." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
no, it's like it's interpretation. It's you know, trying to explain that to an 8-year-old. You know, it's sort of like,
Yeah. Did you like, what was it? The Spy Dancer?
that was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I
Thought it was cool.
That was
I
good.
love that one, and I mean, I like Sith a lot, but that one at the end, I was like, I want more of this
Mhm.
story because
Yeah,
it had
for
one of those stories where it's like, there's more to the story that I want to see, and there's more to the story that they could tell because just
Yeah.
the way they did it, the way they set it up with, for spoilers, the mother finding her son again, and like you don't know if he's going to stay with the
Because she
Empire.
leaves at the end, right? She escapes.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, she leaves him standing on the top
Yeah.
of that theater or whatever that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you see him.
I
at
was
the
wanting
end,
him
yeah.
to take off the patch.
Oh yeah, I was kind of thinking
Yeah.
that might happen. But
Yeah.
But it
I
ended
guess he
with
doesn't have a
her. She gave him something, and he's contemplating it over, and then it pans out a little bit, and you see the tracker on it
Mm-hmm.
because
Mhm.
so she can find him again. And I'm like, no, give me more. Give me more.
Yeah.
Like it was such good storytelling.
And that character's based on a real performer with
Oh.
fabric. So you
Oh,
got
cool.
the behind the scenes are really great. I didn't know that they were on there until actually last night, and I went through basically all of
Oh,
them.
I didn't
last night.
realize. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't either. I have to watch
But
them.
it's really nice. Lacachet did a really cool job, you know, incorporating a lot of, you know, French history and influence and like the rebellion, the World War II, you know, stuff. And it's really interesting to go back and watch it again after seeing what they layered in, you know, from especially World War II and some of the connections with these real performers and Moulin Rouge, you know, that area. But it's cool. Yeah, it was really great. That was good episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What was the other one with the two sisters?
In the stars.
In the stars, I thought was cool too.
Mhm.
Yeah, they all were really cool. I guess it's hard to pick really. You know,
Yeah.
Artemans were amazing. I loved all. Dude, just
I Am Your Mother. the
Yes.
Aardman.
That
Yeah.
one was
Exactly.
funny. And a
That was
lot of
good.
Easter eggs in that one. A ton of Easter eggs.
Uh-huh.
Wallace and Gromit.
Yep. For sure.
That one was
How about you guys?
the bandits one was really the bandits of
Mhm.
Golak. I thought the art style of that one was really cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And the whole because that's the one with the train, right? Yeah,
yeah, and
the
the
whole
brother and sister and
the
the
whole train
relationship.
scene was so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, this was I think I like this season better than the first season.
The pit was kind of sad.
Yeah, the pit was
It was. Yeah,
Pit
the
got dark.
connection. Yeah,
yeah, dark fast. Yeah.
but it was an interesting story, and
Mhm.
it makes you think. I like that it
It
makes you
was well
think.
done.
Yeah, and check out the behind the scenes. It's a neat connection to the filmmaker. To see how that whole story and that production started is really cool.
That's
I'm
cool.
not gonna give away any spoilers, but it's really neat how that story started and the filmmaker that brought it to Lucas, because he worked there, or he works there.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's cool.
but it's cool. Yeah, I thought all the episodes had a lot to bring, culture wise, story wise. Different parts of
Mhm.
the globe represented. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's nice. I like them.
Yeah, looking forward to the third season. What's going to
Yeah.
happen?
What's
Yes.
gonna be next?
Yeah,
It's all gonna
I'm
be
curious
like,
if they're going to use any of these, as like because they know which episodes are getting the most traffic, and the
Yeah.
most social buzz, on all the social media, outlets or whatever, and
Which
it
one we're
makes you
talking
wonder,
about?
yeah, if they'll feature them somewhere or they'll have bring them in or make a series or
yeah, it'll
whatever.
be interesting because like the first season they brought out Funko Pop did some stuff and then some other stuff came out for some of the episodes. So I wonder if they'll do the same
I'm hoping.
with merchandise for this
The only thing I
season.
could find was Topps now released some baseball cards or some cards.
Mhm.
Already got my Sith set.
Nice.
Nice.
But they only came out with like 5 cards for each episode. I don't know if it's still on because it was a limited run for like 6 to 8 days. I didn't even know about these type of cards because I've been out of collecting for a long time. But evidently Topps now capitalizes on current events and big things, and they do a limited run, and then after that they don't make any more. But yeah, they do have a couple. That's the first thing I could find for the Star Wars Visions. So
Cool. So season 3 will be probably the makers of Garfield. We'll have the Muppet episode.
that would be amazing. Muppet Babies. Hey,
I would.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd love a Muppet episode.
Yeah.
Would be cool. Well, the
I'd
Charlie
watch
Brown
that.
Star Wars episode.
Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah.
The Beavis and Butthead episode.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Gosh.
South Park.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, they killed Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Lightsaber.
Dude,
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, well, that would be interesting.
that would. Animaniacs. That'd be cool.
Yep.
Man. All the classics.
I'm all for like a Bruce Timm.
Oh yeah. Batman the animated series style. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We shall see.
I saw some somebody's cosplaying as like Star Wars Batman.
Oh, I think I
And
saw that.
It's there's one that's a stormtrooper, so it's all white, but
Yeah.
it's got all the gadgets and things, but the helmet looks almost like a stormtrooper. And then there's a Mandalorian
Yeah, I saw
one as well, and it's like they look pretty cool. But
It's
That
the
is
Bat
cool.
Mandalorian.
yes, Bat Mandalorian
I think I saw a Superman Mandalorian one too.
could be. Yeah.
It was crazy looking.
All these crazy mashups. Speaking of mashups, I saw something going around with the Tesla logo mashup.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
that was
the
pretty clever.
Mandalorian helmet. Yeah,
The
Yes.
Mandalorian
Yeah,
helmet and the
Mandalorian
Tesla
helmet.
logo.
Yeah.
So Chris, are you going to do
it's
that
great.
for your Tesla?
I
think
I'm
Jennifer
allowed
agreed.
to.
I think Jennifer said she would love it.
Well, she's okay with it.
Do you want me to just to come and do it for you? I could just put it
Yeah,
on
sure.
there,
Yeah.
and then it won't be
Print
your
one out
fault.
and put it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That should be fine.
Yeah,
I
it'll be
guess
fine.
I'll never see you again.
That's okay.
Okay.
You can sneak down here. Yeah, I mean,
We can make a T-shirt. Do a
Oh,
T-shirt.
yes.
That'd be cool.
Well,
Send one to
cool.
Elon. I'm sure he'd wear one.
Oh, Elon. You guys have any more questions? Anything?
I don't. You are such a giant fan of Ready Player One. Did you have
That is true. Oh, yes, we have a little
anything-
bit of time. Give me all the dirt. No.
Yeah. Well,
One of my favorite
it-
movies. It was good.
it was fun. I mean, it was fun, fun project to be on. I was only on it at the very end because I was rolling off of Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I knew the animation director, and he graciously, brought me onto the show, and I had to fight for a couple of shots because everything had been cast because they're basically wrapping up the show, and thankfully I was able to get 2 Gundam shots during the fight scene with Mecha Godzilla, so that was fun. Being able to animate Gundam, oh my gosh, it was so cool.
That's cool.
That was fun. And then I got to do this one close up. It wasn't really a complex shot, but it was with Artemis, where she is delivering the curse or the password, or what was it? My brain's not working. It's the Uthos Bethud, whatever the words that brings down the shield or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I got to do the camera work as well, so it was kind of like this very Spielberg type shot of like the push in, for the big moment. And it really wasn't a complex shot, but I knew the camera work was very indicative of his storytelling, and it was for me, it was just kind of like a fanboy thing. And secretly they didn't know it's like this giant fan that made it onto the show, and I would have probably done it for free, but it was really it was a joy to work on, and I hope I haven't read the second book yet. Have you guys read the second book?
I don't know how to read, so
I've forgotten too. Yeah, I got to remember how to do that. But I'm hoping that maybe they'll make another one.
I hope so.
Yeah,
They need to get on that, Spielberg. I know you're listening.
Would it be Ready Player 2?
Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's Ready Player 2 is what it's called.
Yeah,
there's a book. That's what the book's called.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stars Luigi.
And Luigi. Mario was good. Did you guys enjoy Mario?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was like a breath of fresh air because it was a movie that I could take the kids to, and it was just a fun kids movie.
Yeah.
There was no like agenda. There was no political stuff. It was like, it's Mario. And it was
Let's
fun.
just have fun in this world, and go on an adventure.
Yeah. Loved it. Loved it.
It was good. London, my daughter, so I was able to get my Super NES working. So this is not the 64. So this is between the NES, and the 64. This is that weird middle year of, and I still have it. I couldn't get my original Nintendo to work. I think I still could. I didn't try quite hard enough because it was easier.
You didn't blow hard enough.
That's true. That's true. I had to get this device, this converter thing, and I was able to get the Super NES to work. And so we're playing Mario All Stars, so she can play all the
cool.
the Mario games and Donkey Kong Country, and so a lot of the classics. So she's gotten through a couple of the first levels, and she's only 6, but she's fallen in love with the classic, Mario. And then we got to go see the movie. She's like, "Oh, this is so great!" So it's fun to see that through her eyes.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, loved it.
But yeah,
I hope they make another one.
Yeah.
Oh, they will. It's making Buku's money.
They're definitely.
So, yeah. I hope it's let's put it this way. I hope it's as good and family friendly as the first movie.
I'm wanting Luigi's Mansion. That's what I'm wanting.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Are there any other films you guys looking forward to?
I mean, there's like June, like everything comes out. The new Transformers movie. I was a big Beast Wars fan.
Yeah. I animated 2 shots on that movie.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Yes.
So,
Secrets.
It's only 2 shots, so it's kind of an insult because it was a tease. So I don't even think I'm going to get a credit, honestly, because I really didn't finish. So we had a short window, and we're just kind of helping them out because it was a massive amount of work, and I was able to do 1 shot, and then the next shot I can't talk about them, but it was really complex, and we just had a certain amount of time, and then we had to kind of pencils down, All right, great.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
so
like-
much. It was great.
It's like the test, and
You
pencils
know,
down.
Yep, that's basically
Sometimes
it.
it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'm
Chris,
curious how it all turned out.
when you go see it, Chris, take some poster board, write Brian's name on it, and then in the credits, just stand
Slide
up
it
at the front
Yes.
with his name.
Yeah. That
Like,
really terrible shot that everyone's talking about. That's this guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that, I mean, and the Flash comes out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
The
Indiana
Batman
Jones.
movie, you mean? So,
yeah, so you mean
the Batman movie. Michael Keaton. I'm going to go see
That's
Michael
right.
Keaton.
Yes.
That's why I want to go. That's why I want to see it.
yeah.
And
I still haven't
Indiana
seen Guardians.
Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones, yes.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen
Finger
Guardians,
shots.
and I'm still like, do I want to see Guardians?
I do. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Well, it's like, do I want to cry? Basically, is what it boils
I
down
can't
to.
hear it. Don't say anything.
I
I've been
don't- I
keeping
haven't
myself for
seen
the
it.
trailers too,
Yeah.
so I don't know anything.
It just looks, yeah. I don't know anything that happens, but it looks like there'll be a lot of tissues being used.
Yeah.
And Chris is like, "Oh, it's good. You'll be fine.
It's
You'll be
really
fine."
good. It's really good. I had some tears. I'll say it, but it was good.
That's good to hear.
Sad tears, happy tears,
Yeah.
Maybe I need
in
to watch
between
it in the
tears.
comfort of
But
my
is it a
home.
rewatch? Would you go watch it again?
I'd watch it again. Yeah,
That's a
Yeah,
good
I'd
sign.
watch it again.
So that's always kind of a indicator for me.
I'd love to watch all three of them back to back.
That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the Christmas special.
And and the Christmas special.
Of course,
was
the
good,
Christmas
yeah.
special.
That's
the
the
first
best.
two, the Christmas special, and then the third.
So, without giving away spoilers, the Christmas special, does it take place between 2 and 3?
Yeah.
I guess. Does it come up in the third? Anything that happened? You don't
I
have
don't
to
wanna say.
just
I
say
don't
yes or no.
There's a little thing.
Okay. That's all.
So they acknowledge it.
They acknowledge it.
Yeah, it's
That's
acknowledged.
good. Then
It's
it wasn't just a one-off. That's good.
Yeah, it's acknowledged. It happened.
Because there's stuff that comes up in the Christmas specials. You're like, oh, are they going to discuss this later? Like, this is a pretty big bombshell. Are they discussing this later?
There you'll have to find out.
I'm with you, fellers.
So funny thing happened. My daughter and I went to McDonald's over the weekend, and just daddy-daughter date really quick. She got a Happy Meal. She played in the playground and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. She loves Happy Meals and things, and we also went somewhere else, but it doesn't matter. Story is, she got a Dax figure. And she's like, "What is
Drax?
this?" Yes, Drax. Yeah, sorry, Drax. And she just did. She's like, "I don't like this, Daddy. This guy scares me." And it was just so funny to see her reaction to the character, and she's like, "No, I just don't want this. Sawyer can have this later." And Sawyer's 15 months old. And she's like, "We'll keep this for Sawyer later." But, yeah, it's just kind of funny.
And you're like, oh, I'll keep the toy for myself.
Exactly. I'm gonna put it on my desk. Yeah, just
Yeah.
right here. Yeah,
One
I guess
day.
it's mine.
yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, sometimes when we get stuff for the kids, I was like, one day that will be mine.
And then they go in
I'm
your
still
office.
a child. Yeah.
They'll go in your office and they're like, one day this will be all
Yeah,
mine.
all this will be mine.
Yeah.
They're gonna
And I'll be like,
college
every-
fund.
no, I will be buried with all of this.
Yeah. And my lightsaber
that
coffin,
room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That room itself will be filled
room.
with cement.
Yeah.
It's like a King Tut, room, but it's for Star Wars.
Somewhere in the
memorabilia.
distant future, they'll unearth it and be like, what happened here?
Who is this emperor?
Yeah.
There'll be an Indiana Jones person that
Really
finds your
important.
room.
Yeah. Look at these
I'm
artifacts.
looking forward to Oppenheimer. Have you seen the trailer for Oppenheimer yet?
I've seen the
Oh
trailer.
yeah, that's good.
Man, I'm really looking forward to that. I've known about this. I knew about this guy from history class, but I don't remember a whole
Mhm.
lot. So it's gonna be interesting to see, this take, because that's a really
Yeah.
big moment,
Yeah.
in history. That's cool that
Mhm.
he's making a movie about it. I usually go see all of Christopher Nolan's films anyway, but
Yeah, they're all good. He does a good job.
and then Dune is coming out. What, November? Did you guys like the Dune trailer?
I don't know if I saw the
yeah,
trailer.
Oh, dude,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Man.
I like the first one. So yeah.
I love the cinematography and the
Well,
look. Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought they took their time. They really showed the world. It was very effective. And I saw the movie in the theater, then immediately came home and watched it again on HBO.
Yeah, we just watched it on HBO. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I watched it on. And I was confused because I didn't realize the plan was to make another one. So it got to the end, and I'm like, what?
It's not finished. Yeah, to be
like,
continued.
I'm like, wait a second. There's like no ending at all? It just sort of stops in the middle?
Just
Okay.
the build up. Yeah.
Dune will return.
Yeah. It's not quite Dune yet. You gotta wait till the next episode. Ba-doom-tsh, dad joke. Bad. Just bad. Just cut that. Just cut that out.
No, we're gonna leave it in.
No,
A little news. I saw that Captain America New World Order has started filming.
Yes.
And Seth Rollins, who is a WWE wrestler, is going to be in it as one of the henchmen or something. They took pictures of him. So it looks like, and they've changed the suit for Captain America.
I think that's probably a good idea. It looked very cumbersome of a suit. What I saw mostly they removed that headpiece.
Well, he's like blue. He went from like the
changed,
comic accurate one sort of to a blue, gold, and red trim. It looked like.
Well, the thing with the headpiece that he had when I was watching it, I was like, man, he's moving his head. There's like no gaps in that. They've done something with that. That's digital. And then I saw some behind the scenes stuff, and he's moving around. There's like it's just barely fitting on his head. And I was like, they removed that because that was a lot of money. I bet.
Probably.
That's what we did on Green Lantern.
Nice.
So we did the whole connection and the whole bodysuit for Ryan Reynolds. It was all CG.
Yeah.
And that was a nightmare because they put dots on his neck to track it, and then we had to track all that, frame by frame. Animated all of his muscles, all that stuff. Yeah.
I had to do that on X-Men First Class tracking, and I didn't really have someone that really tracked anything. They tracked the camera, but for Emma Frost when she turned diamond shaped, basically I had to do the opacity on it and match up because she didn't have any dots on her body, so it was just matching it up like 1-to-1, like over the frame, and then the director's like, it has to be exact. Everything she's doing has to be in this animation.
Jeez. Wow. No pressure.
Nuts. Yeah, no pressure.
Jeez.
even for it, which is when I realized this actress doesn't move her brows at all, because it's like almost dead up here throughout the whole thing. I'm like, you don't want me to like put a little life in it? Like nothing? No, exact. It has to be what she's doing. All right, okay.
All right.
One frame, and it goes across 60 frames, and she doesn't move. So it's just one frame that just stays place.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
All right.
Which one? Which film was that?
That's X-Men First Class.
First Class, yeah.
Wow. It was a fun movie working. I loved it, but that was just kind of a funny kind of little thing.
That's awesome, man. I need to watch that one again. There's so many films now I need to go back and watch. I haven't seen The Matrix in forever, and I kind of gauge. So a lot of my students, I'll kind of gauge what do they watch? What are they checking out nowadays? And my Animation 1 class this semester, I got the Matrix camp for some reason, and I said, okay, how many of y'all have seen The Matrix? And I don't think anyone raised their hand.
Oh,
no one in the whole class had seen The Matrix.
And
literally, someone said, they said, well, that's kind of before our time. And I'm like, wait, what?
No.
F,
yeah. F everybody. Yeah. And it just made, I was like, shoot, you guys just need to go watch it, but a lot of them are not, they don't watch films. They don't even, some of them don't really watch shows either. They don't watch series. They just social media and games.
To me.
I know.
That's crazy.
Because we try to have a conversation every now and again about, okay, what are you watching? What are you interested in? What are you reading? They don't read, not that I read all that much either, but I do try. But it's mostly social media and games. A lot of them.
Just have them listen to I Am Geek, and
I know I'm gonna write it
every
big.
week.
Write it big.
We'll have to watch.
That's part of their curriculum.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting to think about what we grew up with. We grew up with a lot of original ideas.
Yeah.
As far as Hollywood. a lot of original movies that were made that were iconic. And if you look at what like the kids these days, what they're growing up on is remakes.
Yep.
Or live action.
Heavily influenced by
so few original ideas.
Yeah.
So when you say, like, even like some of the Disney movies, when you say, man, Beauty and the Beast was great, and they're like, oh yeah, that girl from Harry Potter did a really good job, and you're like, no. The animated movie Beauty and the Beast was spectacularly done, and they're like, what movie? What are you talking about? So original ideas have, and that's one thing that I really like about Visions, bringing it back full circle, bringing it back.
Go. Way to go, Ryan.
Is that they've allowed these makers to come in and with their original idea of something that's iconic, not a remake. Like, it's not like, and here's what New Hope would look like in the anime style. You know, it's like, here's original idea with something that's familiar.
Right.
So we need more stuff like that. We need less live action remakes of Disney movies. We need more original concepts and art, because so we don't have like students that are like, what are you talking about? Like, we just watch, shorts on YouTube or whatever. We need art to live again. Basically.
Good stories are good stories, Yeah. And we just need and storytelling's hard. I mean, story is hard because, there's there's only certain, how many different stories are there technically? There's like this scientific, breakdown of, there's only kind of 6 stories or whatever, like Hero's Journey and all the other ones. But story is difficult, and I mean, if you look at Pixar, even, I mean, they've had a really good series, and then, some of the later ones have been kind of not so big hits, but then they'll come out with another one that's fantastic, and it's kind of hit or miss. It's just tough,
And usually the good ones are when somebody is allowed to be a storyteller, and the bad ones are the ones where, no other way to put it, where the political stuff rules today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just sort of how it is. But speaking of good storytelling, I'm going to segue. Are you guys ready?
Segue it is.
Oh no, here we go.
Because we're running out of time. But I have to talk. Speaking of good storytelling, I got to a couple weeks ago experience some of the best storytelling live action that I've ever seen. And unfortunately, today it was announced that the Galactic Starcruiser, which, if you're not familiar with it, is the, lack of a better term, Star Wars hotel at Disney World, will permanently shut down at the end of September. Because I guess Disney's just not making the money that they wanted to make off of it, which the price was ridiculous, but it is what it is. I witnessed some of the greatest live action storytelling I've ever witnessed, and it's probably one of the greatest experiences, if not the greatest experience, that the people at Disney and Star Wars Lucasfilm have ever made. Because you become part of the story. And I think that's something that even Disney is even in the parks is missing out on these days. But you become part of the story. You basically are in a Star Wars movie, and not only the actors that are on board, but the crew members or cast members of Disney, they all played their part in the story, and the guests that were on board played their part. So it is a sad day in the Star Wars and Disney universe, because one of the greatest things that they made as far as storytelling is getting shelved because of money. And it's sad. Yeah, shocking. And I truly feel for all those that work on the ship, designed the ship, created the ship, that their art is being shelved because Disney did not make the money that they wanted to make on it. I hope that everybody involved bounces back from this and gets a new place to work, a new place to play, a new place to adventure. I'm on a lot of the Starcruiser Facebook groups and stuff, and people are it's hard to say, people are in mourning for it. It's like it's like there's been a death in the family, in the Star Wars family, if you want to say. So my heart goes out to everybody. I only got to go on it once, and I was hoping to take my son on it so he could experience it, but it looks like, unfortunately, unless I come into a big pile of money, that won't be not happening. But if for somehow listeners, people watching on YouTube, if you can find the funds and there's availability, go to it before it ends in September. You won't regret it. I have not talked to anybody that after their voyage has been like, oh, I wish I didn't spend that money. It was truly amazing. I'm sure we'll do an episode on this at some point, but just how great the interaction is. I was on board talking with, I met the captain, and the captain saw a little, I had a rebel pin on my shoulder. I went in full costume, sort of Cal Kestis looking costume. And she said, I see your relic there on your shoulder. Meet me at 7:45 over here, away from people. I've got a mission for you. And she sent me on a secret mission. And then I later on in the journey, I was asked, a secret message was sent to my phone saying, meet at the lightsaber training. Don't tell anybody. And we went in, and there was just a small group. And I mean, there's hundreds of people on the ship, and there was a very small group in this room. And they said, we've brought back an artifact, and it was the droid that was there. It was the Saja, which is like a force sensitive person, and Rey came into the room, and she said, we found this holocron, and they did this whole like secret thing with it. And then I had one-on-one time with Rey where I gave her one of my kyber crystals, and she got emotional about it. We happened to find each other on Instagram, and she said, just wanted you to know that Rey cherishes the yellow kyber that was given to her. So the cast are really into it.
Mm-hmm.
The storytelling's great. The climax of the whole thing is a big lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren and Rey. Fantastic. So to see all that shelved because of, money is sad. So for all those that are storytellers, keep telling stories. Don't let Hollywood and money get in the way. Tell your story however you can, because people deserve to hear it. So that's my, 2 cents from the thing. People deserve to hear your stories. Don't just settle for remakes and stuff. Tell your story. So there we go. So sorry to end on a sort of a emotional note, but
now go see Guardians 3.
No. But I think I've been talking to some people. I'm going to try to, speaking of kyber crystals, I'm going to try to design a special crystal to sort of honor the Starcruiser and the people that worked on it. I don't even know if I'll sell it. Maybe I'll just send it to people that worked on the ship or whatever. So I'm going to try to work on that, just something little to help remember it. I will be in Walt Disney World this weekend for another thing. So I'm going to try to stop by. Part of me is like, do I storm the gates of the Halcyon? I mean, why not?
Yeah,
or the part of me is like, maybe I'll just take some flowers and just lay at the at the entrance, sort of like a morning
teddy bear.
What?
Some teddy bears and flowers at the gate.
A Wookiee and some flowers.
An Ewok.
Yeah, but I've heard from some of the cast members, and they are very distraught and upset about it because it came out of nowhere. It wasn't like we're thinking about closing it down. They announced discounts. They announced fall voyages. They've already booked through December. So they're having to go back and tell all those people, hey, we're closing it down. If you want to switch to the summer, you can. Otherwise, you're just out of luck. So yeah, it was weird that it just sort of came out of the blue. Like travel agents weren't warned. Nobody was warned. It would just dropped basically today saying, oh, well, we're closing it down. Because it's only been open like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So
maybe it'll evolve into something else. Because I like the concept. It's like pick your own adventure, but you're on this kind of Broadway. You're like in the show, and I don't know much about it other than how you've described it. And it's really cool that you actually went and did it.
It is like a pick your own adventure because there's different paths you can take. You can't experience everything once, so it makes it very replayable. Yeah. You have the First Order path, you have the Resistance path, you have like a scoundrel smuggler type path, you have a Jedi path that you can to go on, and they intersect with each other. It's very cool.
My prediction is it's all going to be VR. It's going to be in a giant warehouse, and they're going to cut the cost, and it's going to be VR, and they're going to have all the the accoutrements of like maybe where to stay and things. But I bet you, there's definitely a market for something like that. The experience side of it. We were just talking about the void. How do you get the void? And blend it with what was it called? The starship,
the Starcruiser,
Halcyon.
Yeah. So how do you blend those things, but then not make it more? Maybe it's more affordable to more people. Yeah. I don't know.
There's definitely ways that they could have made this what they did now more affordable, but I don't think they wanted to. I don't think the higher ups. It was just all about money. And, because technically they could have cut the all-inclusive part of it. They could even have cut some of the acting part of it and just had more of a. Most of the stuff happens in the Play Disney app, and still had the stuff that they had there. But sadly, that building will probably sit empty for a while or a long time. And
is it near the park?
It's like out. So Hollywood Studios is where Galaxy's Edge is. It's like behind the park. So it's back there. So they may just do what
Convert
they did.
It to the Hollywood, not Hollywood, but Star Wars Hotel. I guess.
They could. It would be a smaller hotel. I think it has like 100 rooms in it.
Rooms, yeah.
Sadly, there's stuff that was cut from Galaxy's Edge that are buildings that exist in Galaxy's Edge that they just budget cuts. Now all they do is use them for storage.
Wow.
Yeah. So they will probably use this for storage and offices maybe or something. It's sad. I don't know what will happen to it. But Iger, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are.
Yes.
Fix this problem. It deserves to be saved somehow in some form. Like even if they don't continue Starcruiser, which they're not, the characters that they made for this, move them 2x2. Have them as characters in Batuu in Galaxy's Edge that you can still interact with. Something. I don't know.
That could be sad though. You have the ship captain that's down on her luck that doesn't have a ship anymore. It's like in the streets begging.
I don't know. They're good characters that deserve like the onboard Gaia, which is sort of like the onboard she does a big show. She's like a singer. They just dropped her album on Spotify, and they're supposed to be bringing it out as a physical copy that you could buy her album. But now it's like, are they still going to do that, or is it just sort of like, this character's dead now? It's all dead.
Potential for Star Wars Vision Season 3. Hey.
Yeah, the canon of the Starcruiser, the Halcyon, is that it has been around for 225 years, and it has survived so much, but it did not survive Iger. Iger was its downfall, I guess.
Became the Titanic of space.
I guess it survived. There's like books and stuff about it, like Han Solo and Princess Leia, I think, had their honeymoon on it. You can find their initials carved into one of the walls. Anakin and Padme went on it, maybe for their honeymoon or something. It was once controlled by the Hutts. It's survived all these things in the books.
Except they needed another parking garage, so
Yep.
they're leveling it and they're building a parking garage.
It hit a space iceberg.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Anyways,
That's bad. It seems like there's a lot of cast involved with that.
yes, there is. So they'll
Mhm.
have to find new places to adventure, I guess.
Oh, that's too bad.
Anyways, but
Go see
back-
Guardians 3.
Go see Guardians 3 and cry some more. Brian,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on though, and you
Yeah.
are welcome back anytime.
Thank you for having me. It's been a
yeah.
pleasure.
Yes.
It's been fun
We'll do it
catching back
again.
up. Hopefully we
Yeah,
can get together in person sometime.
definitely. I need to make it down to Houston to that Comic Con and what's it called?
Comicpalooza.
Comicpalooza. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, come watch Chris host a panel.
Dude, we need to carpool down there, Chris. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, come on down.
Catron, let's do it.
I'll make it back down one year.
That'd be awesome.
I hope so. They might close it down after this year. Disney may buy it and just shut it down.
Oh,
It's too expensive.
Same
Anyways.
as so.
Yeah, but thank you for coming on. And this,
thanks for having me.
Do you want to plug anything before we go? Anything you want to plug?
Man, yeah, it's a curveball.
You don't have to plug anything.
Watch Star Wars Visions.
Watch
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions tonight on Disney Plus. But are we plugging Disney because they just shut down?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Boycott.
No, it's been great. It's been really good, talking about the show and talking shop with you guys. It's been
Cool.
awesome.
Well, until next time, this has been episode 274 of I'm Geek, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Next week, check us out on Living with the Land Speeder, which we don't have it nailed down what's happening yet. We've been talking to some guests. It may just be the regular crew and no guests. We'll see. But there will be something next week. And then the following week, we'll be back probably with our Comicpalooza wrap-up show.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Catron will interview us, Chris, about our time at Comicpalooza.
Did you
Nice.
walk the floor over and over?
Spoiler, we walked the floor.
What costume were you in as well?
I know.
Spoiler,
going in costume?
none.
Oh, come on, Chris. Everybody will be looking for your
Master Roshi.
Master Roshi. I don't know if I'll
Master
dress up,
Roshi's
maybe.
popular. Yeah, I don't know
He
if I
is.
want to like.
Can I be Master Roshi so I can be
You
popular?
could be Master Roshi. Yeah. Master Roshi is a popular character. Everyone loves Master Roshi. Dragon Ball Z.
I hear my dog walking around, which probably means he needs to go out. So that is the end of this episode, and we'll catch you next time on I Am Geek.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.